Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome back to my channel if there's Inklings. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you, and if you're returning, thanks for coming back. Now let's get into today's video. So instead of doing weekly vlogs, because I really suck at those, I thought I would just sit down and do a weekly what have I read so far this month and do it that way. Also, this will help me be able to remember what I thought of the books and kind of what the books were about, because I'm getting old, getting up there in years, and my memory is not so great. So plus I read a lot or usually read a lot, and so the different books, those can kind of run together when I'm 30 days later. So that's what we're gonna do, and this is going to be what I've read from the 1st through the 10th. And I say that because well, I just kind of added the first 3 days of the month to this, so next week will be just a week. But let's get into these books. So the first book that I finished was Wires and Nerves, Volume 2, Gone Rogue. This is the final book that is released so far. I don't know if there's going to be more, but this is in the Lunar Chronicles, and these two graphic novels follow Aiko and her going out on her own, doing her thing. I don't know what to call it, but this one is kind of the conclusion to the Aiko fighting the wolves after the end of the first Lunar Chronicles, and it was really good. I gave it 5 stars. It's hard for me not to give these books 5 stars because I just love them so much. Not necessarily that they're great graphic novels, but I just love Aiko, and I love the storyline, and I love the Lunar Chronicles. So that is what I did. I don't want to get too much into this because I don't want to spoil either the series itself or this duology of graphic novels. So if you enjoy those kinds of books, the Lunar Chronicles obviously are retellings of modern day fairy tales, and the Wires and Nerves duology graphic novel is about one of the characters in there, Aiko, who is like an android, artificial intelligence type character. So love this series, love these graphic novels. I can't recommend them enough. I guess I should also say that Wires and Nerves doesn't go with any of the prompts from either my new TBR game or for Bookopoly-a-thon. That was just one I was in the middle of when I started the month off, and I needed to finish it. So that's what that one is. And then for Bookopoly-a-thon, role number 4 was a first person perspective. And for that one, I was listening to There by Tommy Orange. And this was a vignette of different Native American individuals coming to, ultimately they all met up at a powwow in Oakland, California. I think it was Oakland. Pretty sure it was Oakland. Now, I gave this one 3.5 stars, and I'll put a cover of the book over here or somewhere on the screen. But I just felt like the book didn't wrap things up very well. Like, there were so many different storylines that connected to each other, but then none of them were fully fleshed out. Like, the end of the book, there was a great opportunity for a couple of these storylines to really congeal. I don't know, good place for them to wrap up, because they, like I said, they all intertwined a little bit, and I just it felt to me like the book just abruptly ended. Like there was no, there just was so much left out, and I understand why it was abruptly ended because of the character we were following. There was so much that could have been done with this and wrapped up and made it feel cohesive, that I just didn't get that. And so 3.5 stars for me on that one. So the next book I read was from the roll number 2 on my TBR game, and that was where we picked a book out of the, well, book jar, and we got The Great Alone. That one right there. Oh, focus. I don't know why this won't focus. There we go. And, well, I read it. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and I gave it 5 stars. This book follows a character, Lenny is what she's called, and this is supposed to be some great opportunity for her dad. Her dad has come back from, I believe it's the Vietnam War, and things just aren't the same with him. He was a POW, and all of that trauma that comes with it, he is really something that is focused on in this book. There are a lot of things that could be content warnings that you probably need to go into this, looking into this before you start it. The story is told wonderfully. It's amazing. The story of this book really deals with life in Alaska and being off-grid and how it's hard to live in Alaska. It takes place in I can't even think of it. I can't even pronounce it at this point. But there is a YouTuber called This Alaskan Life, and they actually have a cabin in anyway, they have a cabin there that is off-grid, and they go during the summer times, and she actually did a tour of the island and the little town there. So I found that very interesting that it all came together. So if you want a little bit more context to the town itself, that would be a good video to watch, and I will link it down below. I don't want to go too much into this storyline because I think you need to traverse it and learn life through Lindy and everything that happens in her family and through her and changing her and just the whole journey itself. There is definitely things that you need to know going into this, if it's something you need to know going into it. It's hard for me to explain that, so look up content warnings, period. Do that before you go into this book. About the halfway mark of this book, I spent the rest of the book sobbing uncontrollably. Just sobbing, because it was so difficult to listen to. It was a difficult book, content-wise. It was a wonderfully written book, wonderfully, and I loved the descriptions of Alaska and how to survive in this remote wilderness, and just kind of that whole feel. I felt like I was there in that, on that remote, it's like an island, not really an island, but it's a very isolated part of it. The only way to get there is through plane or boat. So, like, there's not really roads that go into this area. So maybe it is an island. I don't know. Anyway, this story is tragic. The ending, it doesn't give a happy ending, but it does give a more hopeful ending. But I don't know how to talk about this book without completely ruining the experience and the story for someone else that wants to take this journey. It was difficult. It was traumatic. Lenny and her mother did not have an easy life with living with her father, and I think I'm gonna end my discussion of it there. Wonderful story. Kristen Hanna did not disappoint. It's only my second book by her. I have read The Nightingale, and but this book was by far better than The Nightingale for me and my experience reading it. And then the final book for this week, I attempted to read The Notebook Girls by Julia Baskins, Lindsay Newman, Sophie Pollock Cohen and Courtney Toombs. I got, how far did I get? I don't know. I got like this far into it and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Besides the fact that this is written by freshmen and sophomore, through their freshman and sophomore year, they are also just incredibly problematic in there. And I get that this is a journal, and I get that, but this was written in 2002, 2003 was when this is, you know, talked about, the dates on this. The very first opening of this is it's the social life at Stewie High School, and I know that's not exactly, Stewie is the short name for it, but it's just this group of different, I don't know what you would call it, the prep kids and the nerdy kids and those kinds of groups. But it says, like, under the nerds, it says Asian, black, white, they're just effing losers. And then there are, where was another one? The Ghetto Russians. It says came from the USSR when they were 5, wear diesel Armani Exchange and go clubbing on the Jersey Shore. That's just a small snippet. I mean, this is 2 pages of that kind of stuff, and I just, that was my first introduction to it, and it just kind of kept getting worse from there. And like I said, I was only 10 pages in. I was reading this for my banned book for September for the Beyond the Bookends prompt for September, and I'm just gonna have to find a different one because I am DNFing this one because it is hot garbage. So take that for what you will, and we're gonna go move on from that. Okay, so that is all of my books that I read this week. I have started a few other books that I'm going to hopefully finish next week. I will wrap those up for you on the 18th when that week is over. So let me know down below what books you've read so far this month. Have you enjoyed them? Have you read any of the books that I've read so far? What do you think of them? Do you agree with my rating of them? And if you have a banned book that you suggest I should read, please leave me that comment because I gotta find one of those before the end of the month. So with that said, let's do the YouTubey things. Like, subscribe, share this video with someone else participating in the Bookopoly-a-thon, and be sure to subscribe if you want to continue this journey through books with me. What you're going to see on the screen right now will be a playlist of some of my other book video wrap-ups, book wrap-ups, and also just a video that YouTube thinks you would enjoy of mine. I hope they picked a good one, and I will see you in the next video.